Now let's discuss that with Tony Gosling, historian and investigative journalist, joining us from Bristol. Mr. Gosling, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us. How do you think Trump's remarks fit into the long history of attempts of forcibly removing Palestinians from their land forever, from the Nakba in 1948 to the ongoing efforts of the Israeli regime in Gaza and beyond?
I mean, it should be clear to anyone that's been watching this for a while now that Donald Trump is a very dangerous character. I think, in fact, in Western politics generally, including here in Britain, it's well known, and I think we can look at RFK Jr. as another example of this. It's well known that you have to be supportive of Israel to get ahead in politics, and that if you're not, you will be, well, jettisoned. So in other words, there will be hatchet jobs on you in the press, character assassinations, or you'll have some kind of scandal will be surrounding you. And so Donald Trump doesn't really, he obviously fits into this group of people who are actually, pro-Israel. So even though the Israelis are now known around the world as the rogue state, because of the genocide that's been being instituted over the last 18 months or so, the problem is that nobody, it seems, can make any headway in politics without this. Now, there is I think it was the philosopher John Dewey that said politics is the shadow cast over society by big business. I think increasingly this is actually, it's actually the Zionist entity which is casting its shadow via politics. So if you think about how politicians can rise to power, this really only happens through the promotional wings of the specifically largest political parties, such as Conservative, Labour, etc. here in Britain, and in the United States, the Democrats and the Republicans. But once you have control of these tiny number of institutions, you can determine who is going to make it up. And of course, Trump is one of those people. He is one of those people who has decided that he's going to nail his coat of arms to the Israeli flag, and he's going to be following their influence. So it's hardly surprising that he is, rather than condemning the genocide or taking sides specifically, he's now, I mean, remember, he's a property developer from New York. He's now talking about Gaza as a potential piece of property for the Israelis to simply grab and take that land and use it for their own. And that's why he's talking about people having to leave and go to neighbouring countries. And to be quite honest with you, many of the people in those countries might decide that that was a better option than just staying in Gaza and being killed.
That is exactly my next question. What sort of a reaction are we going to see if the strategies, the plans of Donald Trump are going to be in this way?
Well, what will happen now, you mean? Well, I would suggest that we need to have some international force in Gaza right now. I mean, what we've seen is a ceasefire. How long this is going to last, God only knows. But it could well be not long. So we need to see, I think, immediately, we need to have a UN force in there. I would like to see the Chinese put their money where their mouth is and actually start to do something about Palestine. This is a major international force, an international power at the Security Council of the United Nations, a nuclear power, a country which is now in a similar sort of position economically in the world as Britain and the United States have been in the past. They are the big hitters. They're the big industrial power on the planet. And I would like to see them say, right, maybe even a little bit of banging of fists on tables, and them saying, right, we're going to move motions at the United Nations and possibly even to just do it, to send paratroopers in to protect the Palestinians in Gaza specifically, to really stick two fingers up at the United States, Israel and Britain and their genocide that they've been created there. Because I think, and if we allow this to continue, this attitude by the Western elites, and really it is only a tiny number of people, a fraction of the population in the West, that have got their hands on these elite institutions, the armed forces, the arms industry, politics, the press, etc. then that, I think, would send a very clear message to the West. You've got to stop killing Palestinians and stop killing them now.
That's right. Thank you so much for your insight. That was Tony Gosling, historian and investigative journalist, joining us from Bristol.